Assembling the Onefinity CNC Elite series. Start by placing both of your Y rails on your table. You'll notice the left Y rail has a drag chain while the right Y rail does not. We'll want to space these approximately 48 or 32 inches apart depending on which model you have. You'll also need these riser blocks if you're not using the Onefinity QCW frame and legs. They will be included in the shipment. By placing these under each foot, we allow for room for the gantry to move without hitting the table. It's important that you do not move the gantry while plugged in, or you will backfeed power and possibly blow a motor driver. With those in place, we can lift our X rail onto our Y rail gantries. You'll notice that these feet index on the gantries of the Y rails the same as they do in the original series. Next, we'll install one bolt into each foot of the X rail, securing it to the Y rail gantries. Once our X rail is secured to our Y rail gantries, we can then put a screw in each of the Y rail feet in the front. This will assist us in squaring the machine. To square the machine, we'll push the X rail along the Y gantries to the very back. Once at the back, we can secure the back feet with a screw. Once the back feet of the Ys have been secured to the table with screws, we can check our squareness by measuring the diagonals in an X pattern across our bed. Next, we'll push our machine back to the front and we will attach our Z slider. Using the 4 included bolts, we will attach the Z slider to the X gantry. You'll notice there are 4 mounting positions. I'm mounting mine in the lowest setting, which is the highest set of holes. We can now go back and secure the rest of the bolts into the gantries of the Y, holding the X rail in place. Now we will attach the Masso screen mount. You'll notice there are 2 bolts pre-installed holding the wiring harness and drag chain in place. Remove those 2 bolts and remove the wiring harness from the left side of the foot. We'll also need the included 2 bolts and nuts to attach the other side of the mounting bracket. Attach the bracket using the 4 included bolts, remembering to reattach your drag chain and wiring harness in this. The left side with the drag chain is threaded. On the right side, we will need the included nuts and an 8mm wrench to tighten that down. Next, we will install the screen mount arm. There is a bolt that will thread through the bottom of the bracket we've just installed with a washer. The washer will go on the outside on the bottom of the bracket. Place the arm in the mounting hole with the threaded side facing down. Now we can use our washer and bolt and thread that into the bottoms, securing the arm in place. With that arm secured in place, we can now attach the screen, simply setting it onto the top of the arm where it will index in place. We can now attach the screen and see that it swivels freely. Now it's time to connect our wires. We'll start with the X2 at the bottom of the X rail on the left side. Next, we will attach the Z2 connector on the back side of the X rail. After that, we will attach our limit switch homing sensors to the corresponding connectors. On top of the Z slider, we will connect the Z3 connector as well as the optical brake homing sensor. Moving to the right Y rail, we will connect the B1 connector as well as the B1 optical homing switch. Moving to the left Y rail, we will connect the Y1 connector as well as the Y homing sensor. Staying at the left Y rail, we will connect the X1 connector to the bottom connection port on the left side of the Y rail. Next, we will connect our Z1 connector to the left side of the Y rail. On the left, we see the back of the Masso controller, and on the right, we see the power supply. All of the connections on the back of the Masso controller are clearly labeled, and the white connectors that correspond with the power supply, it will not matter which port they're plugged into. There's a straight connection Y to Y, B to B, Z to Z, X to X, and the flat 5-pin connector is the power going from the back of the controller to the controller's power supply. Here we have both versions of the power supply. On the left is a 110 and the right is 220. On the left we have two power plugs. The main AC will run the controller, motors, and the router. You cannot plug a VFD into the router plug-in. On the right side, we have a plug that will only power the vacuum relay. You will want to separate the circuits on which these two power supplies are running. Now we will connect our vacuum to the vacuum relay. Then we can connect our router to the router relay. Again, this is only for the router, not for a VFD. You'll notice on the 220 version there is only one power port. This will provide power for the router as well as the vacuum and the controller and motors. We can plug the router into the port on the left and the vacuum into the port on the right. Once that's done, we can press the power button on the power supply to turn on the controller. This will also turn it off. After a Masso boot screen, it will bring up a Onefinity powered by Masso boot screen, and it will bring us to the F3 control page. Make sure to be on the lookout for more informative videos from Onefinity about using your brand new Onefinity Elite series powered by Masso. Thanks for watching.